Well, another doubleheader. Ace Delta 12, a racing gaming joint forces for your entertainment. Yeah, a number of things happened, and I was never able to get the North Wilkesboro script finished until Sunday, so I just decided to put it alongside the Coca-Cola 600. But hey, at least I actually got to watch the All-Star Race. I can't really say that about Richmond. Anyways, here's the All-Star Race. I knew North Wilkesboro was going to be a good race, but damn, I did not expect it to be as good as it was. To start it all off, Kevin Harvick came back to the 29 for this race. He wanted to do something to truly honor his past, and when he called up Richard Childress about the idea, he gave him the go-ahead. So, because the All-Star Race is not a points-paying race, Harvick was able to run the 29 at that race. It was kind of the optimal choice, really. To further embrace the historical aspect, Eric Jones ran a true Richard Petty throwback, complete with Petty's old sponsor on the car. His teammate Noah Gragson also won the fan vote to make it into the All-Star race. Why didn't Jimmy Johnson do this race? Stages got taken out, but there was a mandatory caution halfway through, so I don't know what the plan was. Probably the best touch out of all of that was the old broadcasting guard was reunited. Mike Joy and Clint Boyer were still there, with Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds coming back for this one-off, and neither of them have missed a beat. It's like they've been doing this forever. With all the wholesome throwback stuff kind of out of the way now, let's talk about the actual race. Early on, Denny Hamlin reached the top 3 as Kyle Larson fell back. After some green flag racing, Eric Jones spun on Ricky Stenhouse Jr., bringing out the caution. And on the pit cycle, Kyle Larson sped on pit road and was forced to the back of the field. And now he's back in the top 10. Daniel Suarez led every lap he could before Kyle Larson took the lead from him. There was a mandatory caution at the halfway point. Ross Chastain sped on pit road, and Christopher Bell and Joey Logano both had uncontrolled tires. Yahoo! At this point, I noticed that Kevin Harvick, the 29 car, was doing uncharacteristically bad. I thought they'd be at least in the top 15, but he was strangely nowhere to be found for this race. But other than that, it was kind of your usual short track business, as Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace drove away easily, with Kyle Larson ultimately leaving North Wilkesboro $1 million richer. It was a pretty quiet race overall, but I enjoyed it very much, and I'm hoping this isn't a one-off thing and that they'll keep coming back to North Wilkesboro, whether for the All-Star race or, ideally, for points-paying races. And finally, NASCAR tries something new, and Joey Logano doesn't win it. That was an embarrassing streak that finally came to an end. Bristol Dirt, the debut of Worldwide Technology Raceway, the Los Angeles Coliseum, the first championship of the Gen 7 car. Yeah, it was embarrassing. So to see Kyle Larson win the North Wilkesboro All-Star race was a much-needed break from Joey Logano conquering everything new that NASCAR tried. Almost to the point where I didn't want them to try anything new because, if they didn't, Joey Logano would win less. Every time they tried something new, he'd win it. Just... I was not having any fun with that. Anyways, alongside Larson's win, I found myself invested in the entire race pretty much from start to finish. So, yeah, quiet but memorable. That's how I'd sum it up. Of all the tracks to show what the Gen 7 car is capable of, Charlotte has done it the best. From what I've seen, it's the only track where every event that the Gen 7 car has been there for, it turned out fantastic. Despite the race being delayed to Monday, it was still a very good race with a lot of hard battles, especially at the end of each stage, as well as the end of the race. Well, hey, Jimmy Johnson returns again. Let's see how he does this time. William Byron led early before Denny Hamlin took the lead. Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, and Bubba Wallace all dropped back as Christopher Bell was able to reach Byron and Hamlin for the lead when the competition caution came out. After the pit cycle, Ryan Blaney was able to get to the lead, and Bell took it on later as Chase Elliott got back into the top 15. Then we had our first caution for an on-track incident with Jimmy Johnson spinning out. Michael McDowell was penalized for car interference due to making contact with Bubba Wallace on pit road. AJ Allmendinger had a penalty for equipment interference, and then we went back to racing. Blaney, Bell, and Byron battled late for the Stage 1 win, and Byron was able to take it. Early in Stage 2, Noah Gragson went to the garage as Chase Elliott reached the top 10. He continued to gain position, and after Austin Cindric hit the wall and made it to pit road under green, Chase Elliott was in the lead. Bubba Wallace was bought for equipment interference, and sometime later, we had a brief rain delay, bringing out the red flag. During the red flag, Christopher Bell made an unapproved adjustment on the car and was relegated to the back of the field. Eventually, the red flag was lifted, and we went back to racing. That is until Jimmy Johnson spun out again for another caution. After the pit cycle shuffled Chase Elliott out, he was able to get back into the top 15 alongside Daniel Suarez right before Kyle Busch spun out and brought out the caution. Later on, Eric Almirola brushed the wall and got shuffled back with no caution, and then some rough racing between Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin ended up resulting in Elliott turning Hamlin into the outside wall. Hamlin ended up collecting Elliott due to spinning after the contact, and neither car was able to finish the race. Tyler Reddick fell back, resulting in an all-Ford top 5 to end Stage 2, with Chris Buescher winning it as BJ McLeod spun out on the final lap. Kevin Harvick got the lead early in Stage 3, and Brad Keselowski took an unexpected pit stop under green. After that, Christopher Bell spun, bringing out a caution. During that pit cycle, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Chris Buescher, and Ross Chastain all made contact with each other on pit road. Somehow, nobody spun out, and they all got out of there safely. Kyle Larson reached the top 3, Bubba Wallace got back into the top 10, and Ryan Blaney and Tyler Reddick battled for the lead before Todd Gilliland and Brad Keselowski hit the outside wall for a caution. Byron got back to the lead, but fell back as Blaney and Reddick continued as if nothing happened. Ty Gibbs reached the top 5, and Truex caught up to the leaders as Ryan Blaney won Stage 3. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the Coca-Cola 600, and only the Coca-Cola 600, runs 4 stages instead of the usual 3. So to start Stage 4, Tyler Reddick got loose and slid his car into the grass. Somehow, he was able to keep control of his car and got back out on the track without the caution being thrown. No idea how he pulled that off. And just like a couple weeks ago, we had a plethora of late cautions again. Michael McDowell lost a tire. Caution. Austin Cindric crashed. Caution. Kyle Larson spun. Caution. He collected Ty Gibbs and Joey Logano in the process.
Failure!
Kyle Larson wound up out of the race because of this, as William Byron reached second. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. brushed the wall, but he was able to keep going and no caution was thrown. Reddick and Truex battled for third, and Ryan Blaney broke away with the lead. Byron gave chase, but he wasn't able to catch up with Blaney, who snapped a 59-race winless streak and won the Coca-Cola 600. Overall, this race went really hard. We had some caution fests and some long green flag runs, drivers making moves everywhere, and a driver who's been upfront and competitive all day was the one to ultimately take the victory. Zane Smith drove the Front Row Motorsports number 38 car, while Todd Gilliland drove the vacant Rick Ware Racing 51. Smith ended up finishing in 10th, an impressive feat for someone who has yet to make a career in the Cup Series. Alex Bowman made his return, finishing a respectable 12th in his first race back, and both 2311 racing cars finished inside the top 5. 2311 has overall been a mid-pack team ever since its inception, so to see Bubba Wallace finish in 4th and Tyler Reddick finish in 5th in the longest race of the season, no less. That should be commended. Just a fantastic race overall. The competition was fierce, and the race winner deserved the win. That's gonna do it for this review of the North Wilkesboro All-Star Race and the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. If you guys like this video, then make sure to leave a like on it. And if you want to see more of this, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you won't miss an upload. Take care, y'all. Mace Delta 12 out.